So Horsin around, a dumbass cast, back at it again. It's a new year, back to the old-fashioned facts of games of the year. But again, we've got three lovely hosts today, including myself. But if my other lovely guests would like to co-host.
Hello. I'm Dawn. Y'all know me.
Hello, I'm here as well. My name is Chungito or Aiden.
I think if we went back to the Game of the Years last year, I think we were all using our real names, and now we're all going to the streamer names.
It's so weird
Flash.
because whenever I just like hop on streams with all of you, it's so weird to be called Chungito because I don't think anybody has ever called me that beforehand.
Yeah, man.
The only weird thing for me is that I've been Dawn on the internet for most of my life. So being called Dawn in a streamer setting or even in real life is just not it doesn't even phase me. But the only weird part about it was when people that we knew started calling me Dawn. I was like, now hold on. This is just
Wait,
weird
hold
for
on.
everyone else.
Wait a minute. I don't know about this. This is too far. So yeah, there were a lot of games that came out this past year. I didn't play too many of them. I know maybe y'all played some more, but I at least last year I don't even know if we did a Game of the Year thing for 2024 because I don't remember having anything to talk about for last year because I don't think I played anything that came out in 2024 except for like Black Ops 6, and I was not really confident in saying that was like an outstanding game.
Now that you mention it, I think I only did the music podcast last year because I didn't have anything to say about games.
Yeah, no, I think we passed on games last year, and unfortunately, I think we'll be passing on music here because there were enough folks that had enough music opinions. But there were good games this year. It was another terrible year for game developers, as usual. The meat crushing, the peanut crushing machine continues for game developers out
Or
there.
Snipper Man.
The peanut snipper man is once again at
Pinar
it
Sticker
in the
Man.
worst way. But yeah, we got some games to talk about, and I think I'll start us off by saying that my game of the year for 2025 was Hades 2. It's I guess to put it succinctly, it's more of Hades 1 in the best way possible. And I just I don't know. I think I got it because it was in early access in 2024, so people could play it then. And if you want to give me shit for having played it a little bit in 2020, actually no, I didn't
That's
play it
kinda
in
fucked up.
2024. Yeah, I know, but I didn't play it in 2024. I only played it way after its official release. It was gifted to me way back then, but I don't think I played it at all.
I played it because I got it for my birthday, and I felt bad not playing it. So I played it
You
one
should
time.
play it. You should play it some more.
I finished the game.
Oh, okay.
I've finished the game. Don't worry, I've played
All
it.
right. I have, and you honestly might have finished more stuff than I have at this point. But I have at least beaten the main boss. I don't think it's a spoiler to say that Kronos is the villain, considering they start the game by saying death to Kronos.
How dare you?
I've
Spoil that?
Yeah, I know. I've beaten him a couple of times now, and I have beaten another boss character of sorts at least once. And it was very satisfying, as it always is, to overcome the odds and the challenges. You prepare yourself and learn stuff about the toolkits at your disposal. But yeah, just it takes the formula of Hades 1 and then just gives you hours upon hours of extra stuff on top of that you could spend, an ungodly amount of time in Hades 1 too, but like I feel like I am always still finding new stuff that's not just for my own enjoyment, but like it is, but like it's still new on top of that. Like they put more stuff there. It's not just playing repeatedly the same stuff, which I may still do even after I finish this. I don't know. But
Do you think
Jeff getting audio through both mics? Yeah, that's just our setup. That's the curse of what it be. But yeah, I don't know. I would 110% recommend to anybody, period, but especially if you enjoyed Hades 1 at all. Kind of dialogue is even crazier than it was before. I love the minor spoiler, Chaos comes back. It's a surprise.
I know that. Chaos is hot. Yeah.
Yeah. New Chaos model, fucking hot as hell. I mean, everybody's hot. Fucking Aphrodite got hotter somehow. I think maybe. Well, okay, that might be a spoiler. I won't talk about that, but I think there's new hot characters. The new like what? Nemesis, my beloved.
Nemesis.
There's something that happens in one of my runs that I was not expecting with her. And when you progress her story enough, and that was very, very nice. A nice touch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of other plots. Oh, but the Chaos stuff, like they had a new try, like a bonus challenge system through Chaos that I don't remember if they had that in Hades 1. I don't remember it. It's
Which
like
one?
it's the thing where the Chaos gives you specific conditions. Like you just go to one area and do like a run through that area only with a certain weapon.
You're talking about the mirror or whatever it's called, the crystal.
Yeah, the crystal.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's like I honestly was avoiding it for the longest time because I was more interested in just doing regular runs to try and make story progress. But today and like a couple of days ago, I just started doing Chaos Trials, and they are also super fun because it's like more deliberately set up with like what tools you're given as far as and like what moves you get. So you get to experience a more tuned play style than you may in other runs. But also in a lot of cases it's like demoing if you pick one of the main gods' like equipment things that increases their odds of appearing. It's just like here's what it could be like if you got like all Zeus moves or whatever, and like how crazy it could be, which is super cool. So love that.
Do you like those because they're sort of like tutorials about certain combinations you can have with either boons or with like weapons and boons. They're very, I don't know, they show you more of the game that you can like, okay, during an actual run I can look for these combos and like be very powerful.
Yeah, it is a tutorial, but it is a tutorial that I don't know, I like it's I guess because it doesn't have but also some of them are still difficult, and that like they have like a challenge rating system on them. I did the one with the Hermes equipment and like needing to beat the one area in under 5 minutes, and I showed Tori at the end. It was literally less than a second that I had before I failed that I managed to eke out the last bit of damage. Yeah,
just, like
you're muted.
My tutorial.
Yeah, it was, but like those things are like you can. Those are more than tutorials, but there are also a lot of them that are tutorials. But at the same time, they do give you progress on increasing the level of those equipped items when you have them. So like you get, the bonus for finishing the challenge, and you also work on that enchantment or item at the same time. So it's like, you get the tutorial, you get an item for knocking out the challenge at the end, and you get progress on whatever item you have, if you haven't already maxed it out, which I've been leaving the main gods items for last, because I think the other items are more interesting. But still, obviously having increased odds of getting certain gods moves is super cool as well, so I am going to probably get around to them now, and that's a good way to kickstart it by doing these challenges and seeing what the end game kind of is for a lot of the gods, because you start off with a lot of their boons to begin with, and then you get given more of them, which also increases your odds of just getting to the heroic and duo boons faster than you would otherwise, which is also super cool. I don't know, but that's just one new feature that they've added, and then there's there's one major, I would say half of the game that is kind of a spoiler, so I can't really talk about it too much, but
Is it a spoiler? I feel like you get to it very early on.
I can't even say that I can mute for 5 seconds and avoid spoilers, because we're in the same room, so I can't even pretend to close my ears.
Yeah, no, it's pretty early, so
you could say it. I'm not gonna remember.
I don't really want to. I don't think it changes much of my thoughts on it generally, other than saying that there is cool stuff there that adds a whole half to the game that wasn't there in the base Hades game. So yeah, big Hades 2 lovers.
Yeah, I really like the gameplay in Hades 2. I think they just took Hades 1 gameplay and was like, what if we made it more interesting?
Yeah. Oh, the mana system. Yeah, that's another thing.
Yeah, Omega attacks and magic are such a interesting part of the game. And once I figured out that the only way to do these big damage builds is to use those, runs became so much more easy and just fun.
Yeah, there's literally and there's the incentive of if you use one Omega attack, one type of Omega, and then another one, it'll do bonus damage by chaining Omegas together, which is crazy huge damage if you get it all off.
There's two things that I would want to talk about gameplay wise. There's one build that I made with the staff weapon that I think I told you about this. You could get boons that double your Omega attack, which is this big line attack.
Yeah.
If you get that and another double attack, you essentially just turn into the sun and explode everything in the room. It's amazing how fun that is.
Big Apollo enjoyer over here.
Mean, big attack go boom, hit all things in room.
It is pretty crazy. Yeah, for sure.
I will say, this is a slight spoiler for weapon types in the game, but there's actually you get them pretty early on. There's an aspect of the sister blades that is very cool, in which you have to hit an attack, hit a special, and then hit an Omega attack, and it does tons of damage.
Is that the aspect of Artemis on the Twin Blades?
No, it's the aspect of the Marrow.
Because I know there's I wanted to try the aspect of Artemis where you get some kind of riposte effect that I don't see anywhere else in the game, but maybe it's somewhere else. But I don't know how to. It doesn't I don't see any UI indicators when I feel like I met the conditions to trigger. So I don't know if I'm misunderstanding how the mechanic works. But
for the riposte.
Yeah, you need to do if you do an Omega attack or something, it's supposed to trigger a parry state, and then you enter riposte. I guess maybe I need to wait to get hit. Maybe that was the thing.
Yes. So when you're charging up the Omega attack, it puts a shield around you. It will take one hit, and then you'll enter a riposte stance
I
where you're
see.
invulnerable for a
So
short amount of
that's a
time.
classic case of me not wanting to ever not be pressing buttons. Where I have to slow down and wait for
You gotta slow
somebody,
down, yeah.
yeah,
It's
to
very
hit me. Okay.
it's very good for, like, if you have, charge, like, a mega attack charge,
Mhm.
speed upgrades. Um, but sorry, the one that I'm talking about is the aspect of Morrigan.
Mhm.
Um, which also I love that they've continued to go pick from other mythologies. I think that's very fun
Yeah, yeah.
because the Morrigan is Celtic, like
That's
Oh,
pretty
fuck
cool.
mythology.
yeah.
Um, but I don't know, like the gameplay feels so much like more refined than Hades 1. Like Hades 1 is still very fun, but I don't think I could go back to it without the Omega attacks. Like they're
What,
just they're
did we
so nice.
have rushing in Hades 1, or is that a Hades 2 thing? That was new.
Like sprinting?
Yeah, like if you
Yeah,
after you dash,
sprinting.
you start sprinting.
Yeah, that's a Hades 2 thing.
Okay,
Hades
wow,
1
yeah,
just had dashes.
that is crazy because I can't
That's
imagine going
fine.
back to a world without rushing. Even if it's I don't like do that much rushing, but like it feels I guess it feels like second nature to me now, such that going back to Hades 1 would feel so sluggish in comparison.
Yeah.
Um, that is
I will
super.
s- I will say the only thing that I disliked about Hades 2 is I really didn't like the story. It's not like it was
Mm,
bad. I just felt like I don't know, there's something about it that felt off from Hades 1.
interesting, interesting. I guess I haven't gotten to the end of it, so I can't fully judge the story till I see its final ending. But
I will say
that's
they made a patch to rewrite the ending because people didn't like it.
whoa,
Really?
damn,
Yeah.
okay.
It was not the greatest. I
Mm,
like there it's something that happens in the story that just like switches uh Milenoe's character and it
oh,
happens so fast that I'm like
huh.
what happened? Why did this happen? They
That's
apparently added a lot
interesting.
more to like lead up to that moment. I still don't think it works entirely. I've
Okay.
watched like uh I've watched videos about like people talking about the story and I'm not going to go into like spoilers or anything like that, but
Yeah.
the I think the main difference that they talked about was that Zagreus was trying to like help people out, like lifting them up and trying to get them to a better place.
Yeah.
Things like uh Sisyphus and Orpheus
Orpheus. Yeah.
and what's
Eurydice.
her name? Eurydice, yeah. And in Hades 2, it's kind of just like like Millennium is kind of helping, but also just kind of keeping the status quo.
Yeah,
It's
well
weird.
that's where I'm kind of wondering where the story will go because you have to, beat Kronos multiple times and like each time you beat him he says more stuff and it's just like, all right, you're dropping little hints that like maybe there'll be some more nuanced discussion of like this whole family history thing later, but I haven't gotten to the end, so I don't see how it revolves. But I'll be interested to see what the
It'll
final
be
score
interesting.
is there. But at least
Yeah.
like it is my game of the year just based on the gameplay alone. But
Oh yeah,
yeah,
100%. Amazing.
I think this serves though as a good transition point since your game of the year I think is very story dub kind of oriented as far as I think why I perceive that you probably picked it as partially as like your game of the year. But yeah, why don't you go off and tell us what your game of the year is? This is also what
It's
you
your
have
turn to
as
glaze.
Yeah.
your
This is my
background
time.
currently for your stream
Um
view. Providing
so
music for the stream.
I wanted to pick a game that wasn't Expedition 33 because someone already chose that, and that's
what?
fair.
Spoilers! Spoilers for the third of the
Oh
pod.
yeah, that's a spoiler.
Fuck,
Sure.
dude, come on.
Podcast, and we're not going to talk about Expedition 33.
And while that game was amazing, I picked a game that is a lot smaller, made by a very small team. Is Wanderstop. It is a very like cozy light management game, made or the director of it is Davey Wreden, the like creator producer of Stanley Parable, the Beginner's Guide, a bunch of other stuff.
Wait, this is Stanley Parable team? Or Stanley Parable writer? Did you say Stanley Parable?
The writer.
Oh,
yeah.
Fuck, okay.
He's the writer. Also the brother of Doug, streamer extraordinaire. But yes, this game is what's the word that I'm thinking of? It lures you in with coziness and like beautiful scenery. Like, if I don't know if you're showing this on stream.
Yeah, I got your stream up.
But it then proceeds to beat you over the head with emotional damage. And is so I will say that this is the complete opposite of my thing with Hades 2. That like Hades 2 I loved for the gameplay. The story was kind of eh. The gameplay is simple. It's you just make tea for people. That's all you do. There's no like time limits, nothing. You make
farm
tea for
the
people.
materials for the tea, right?
Yeah.
You go around and plant stuff. Yeah.
There's other stuff to do, but that's like primarily what you're doing in this game. The story, however, is things that tackle subjects like burnout, depression, negative self-image, and feelings of unworthiness.
Whoa!
It makes you feel things.
When I tell you within 2 hours of playing this game, I felt like I had been like sniped through like several buildings, just hit directly into me. It is insanely good, and I tried to write stuff down for this game. I would talk about this game for hours. I don't think that we have that much time, so I will.
We don't have that much time, not hours worth of time, but this game clearly resonated with you very, very, very especially. Do you think it is? But it has like the universal. Like, do you think this could work for anybody? Like, that's just going into it blind.
I think this game only works for people that have not works, but like will be impactful to people that have experienced burnout, have experienced like feelings of unworthiness, and also people who are constantly like stressing themselves out to a point where I guess that's just burnout again, but like I think that's who the story will resonate most with. Because this game, this is not a game. This is therapy disguised as a game.
This is a Game of the Year podcast. You know,
the tea making is really fun.
The tea making is very fun. It's just make the tea. It's also talking about how endlessly chasing the idea of perfection will ultimately lead you to being unhappy and being depressed. But it's cute. I fucking love it.
It's so cute dealing with perfectionism and stress and depression.
I've cried so much at this game. I don't really know. There's I can give like a brief overview of like the start of the story. I don't know if I should spoil. I don't really want to go farther into it. But the premise is that you are this like world-renowned fighter who goes into like arenas and is the champion, undefeated, has never lost a single match. And then prior to the start of the game, you lose your first match and you lose the like title of champion. And so
which is fucked up in and of
Alta,
itself that you lose one fight and then it's all taken away.
I mean, it was a championship match. That's how that works.
Damn.
Um,
That's crazy.
so you play as Alta, and you begin the game running through the forest on your way to search for this like legendary warrior to try and like teach you, and like your plan is to train every day and night to like get back to the top. And then as you go through the forest, your sword that you're carrying becomes heavier and heavier, and then you eventually just collapse in the forest. And then you wake up here at the Wander Stop.
Wow.
And from there, you're invited by the like owner of the store to like make tea and just like relax and recuperate so you can go back out into the forest and find the person that you're seeking. I think this game does a very good job at not only telling the story, but via its gameplay, having the player also experience what Alta is like experiencing.
Immersing
Yeah.
in the character.
And they do that in making all of the stuff that you have to do the most inefficient thing ever. You are meant to take it slow. You are meant to relax and sit and do like relaxing things.
And it's
And that is
painful.
It annoys you on purpose for narrative character building reasons.
Well, it's just like the whole thing of I think like I've experienced this and maybe you two have experienced this, but in games there's a sense of like not completely overwhelming the player, but always giving the player something to do. Like it is always like go do this for this quest, or like do this
That's Hades
objective.
2 for me, baby. Just
Yeah.
keep giving me shit to do. Always something new to do.
This game takes a complete opposite approach. It's like, okay, you have to wait like 2 actual minutes for you to complete this objective. Like there's no speeding it up, there's no upgrades, there's no anything like that. You
have to sit and be alone with your thoughts for 2 minutes.
You sit. You can go out, explore the grounds, like cut back some of the weeds, plant new plants, like try and create new things. There's also several books that you can just sit down and read. The whole point of this game is to make you take your time. Because if you don't, the people that are around you are going to go away faster. Like moving on, you're accelerating that process. So take the time that you have here in this moment, relax, and enjoy it. And that fucked me up.
Take your time. You have a whole fucking. I mean, this seems even more laser focused on that idea than Persona, which literally has a loading screen that says "Take your time."
Do not make me go on a rant right now. Do not make me go on a rant right now. Do not. Do not.
Sorry.
This will make me spiral into Expedition 33, and I'm just gonna turn this into a why Persona 5
I was gonna say this might be.
Everybody claims it is.
I was gonna say I think the only other thought I had to contribute to the Wandersoft discussion, because I haven't played it, Dawn has. I've seen her play it. It does, I see what you're describing when I have seen it, and it does seem like it is absolutely 100% achieving what it sets out to, which is, I think, honestly, what should mark anything that is a contender for Game of the Year. Is even if what it sets out to do isn't the craziest thing in the world, if it's just to convey one emotion or one idea, and it just everything leads back into that, and it executes that in the way that just feels right, then you got the sauce, you're cooking.
Yeah.
But
I want to add one thing, if it's all right. I don't know if you're.
Yeah, no, you're good. Yeah, I was gonna say one more thing as well. You're good.
Okay. Yeah, I think my only mild. I can't even call it a complaint with the game, because on the thread of it's doing exactly what it sets out to do, I got bored and dropped it.
That's fair. That is completely fair. That is the point of the game.
That is the point. Yeah, no, I do not even want to call that a criticism of the game. It's a criticism of myself. And I do want to get back to it, because it is really good. And when I was playing it, I had to take mental health breaks from the game to continue 100%. To fail my mental health. But I do need to get back to it. It is really good. It is therapy in a game. The writing is sublime. And it does what it sets out to do, which is really pretty great. Good for them.
I think that this is... Sorry, do you need to say something?
I was just gonna say, the thing that it all comes together to, in my mind at least, is it seems like this is kind of the literal... This is the most antithesis, focus on the thesis, antithesis of the grind set culture that surrounds us and is forced upon us, in current year by social media and capitalism and everything else. This is, the game that is saying, fuck that noise, and good for it for saying that.
Yes.
I truly think that this is my game of the year because I think it has rewired my brain in so many subtle ways that it has deeply impacted me. I think another one of the major themes is being okay with letting yourself fail at stuff, and forgiving yourself for not being able to be perfect.
Yeah.
And that shit sat with me for a while. I was talking about this before, I think it was before we started. That I'm currently seeing a therapist. When I'm in therapy,
let's go!
Online. Yeah, hell yeah. Shout out to the people in therapy.
Round of applause for therapy!
When I do online therapy, so I have video chats with my therapist, and whenever I'm in therapy, I've found myself listening to the soundtrack of this game. Because it's C418, amazing music producer.
Yes.
But also just weirdly has this sort of calming sense to it that feels warm, except for the songs that are very stressful. But those are meant to be stressful.
Yeah.
I was looking at this earlier, and for my Spotify Wrapped, I think I listened to the album for 3,000 hours, was it?
Hours?
Sorry, minutes.
Okay.
Sorry.
I was gonna say, if you said hours, that's more time
minutes.
than I put into a game that I developed for over 4 years.
I think that's more than a year.
Am I right about that? How many hours are a day? Yeah, I don't know. 24 hours in a day.
Yeah, that's 125 days. That's a half a no. Almost no. That's not how
it's
math
more
works.
than it's a good
A
amount
third
of a year. Yeah.
It's a lot of time.
3,000 minutes. It was my number one album of this year, because of that. Yeah, I really like this game, and if anybody watching this has felt either burnout, depression,
Yeah.
or
I
feelings
was
of
asking earlier
unworthiness,
about like, can this appeal to anybody? But I honestly think that those are pretty near universal experiences. So like it is naturally set up to address a lot of things that a lot of people have dealt with, even if not like it might not be as major as it is for some people as it is for others. But like I think we've all felt things like that.
Yeah. I have seen some like reviews of the game that are just completely like, I don't get what this game is trying to do. Like I don't get it at all, and I'm like, okay, so you don't deal with it. That's fine.
Yeah, but for those that it hits for, it hits like a freight train. That's
it really does.
what it's set out to do. So.
Speaking of hitting like a freight train.
Is this our transition? I don't know anything. I don't know anything about Expedition 33, so I will trust y'all on it being a good transition.
Verso likes his trains. Something.
Verso loves trains. Anyway, everybody say something that Dante won't get until he plays the game.
Are you gonna spoil me without context? Is that what this is gonna be the rest of the stream?
How there's that one character that's really into feet.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Very cool.
I could say more about feet, but I'm not going to.
And quote. Okay. Well, let's get Don. Don, what is your pitch for your game of the year here? If you'd like to officially blaze it yourself.
All right, enter Expedition 33. This is going to be a almost entirely, hopefully, spoiler-free review. So I'm gonna tell you the story as much as I can until spoilers, which is about 2 minutes in, and then we're gonna talk about the gameplay, and we're gonna talk about a little development and why it's so good. And I might also slip in, real quick. I do want to go back and address.
Uh-huh.
So you said that Persona 5 has the take your time in the loading screen. Persona 5 says that and encourages the exact opposite of that behavior, because if you do take your time and do anything that is even remotely leisurable, you are wasting time and therefore unable to get to a bunch of content in the game. So fuck that noise.
I think they mean it in a different way in Persona. They mean you need to they mean basically
they mean don't take your time, rush, go fast.
Rush.
They mean min-max your time, which is the opposite of what Wanderstop is saying. Yes.
We are taking your time. Go now.
But anyway, because Expedition 33 doesn't have much to do with that, because you can take your time, you can rush it. I'll say I finished the main story in about 30 hours, I think. 30 or 40 hours, and I now have 60 hours in the game. And
climbing.
And climbing very steadily. There's a lot to do in this game. So, quick plot synopsis is you are on Expedition 33, and you are off to defeat the Paintress. You're going on an expedition to defeat the Paintress, and I'm not going to tell you any more than that, because that is spoilers.
What about the previous 32 expeditions?
That's funny for reasons you don't understand yet.
That's the opposite way.
Is this like a Mickey 17 scenario, or like
he doesn't get what I'm saying?
He doesn't get it. No, it's okay. Yeah, sure. We're gonna go with that. Anyway.
You don't even know what a Mickey 17 situation means. You didn't see that movie.
I didn't see that movie. You're right. I only saw the ending of it. But anyway, Expedition 33 is effectively a JRPG, like art exploration type game. In my opinion, it's the best implementation of that game I've ever seen. So my issue with JRPGs, right? I like the turn-based combat. I like the dealing with strengths and weaknesses and trying to create optimal builds and characters and whatnot. That's cool. I dislike being in combat with random enemies, and I dislike the combat like flow, like the cycle generally is the most frustrating part, because say an enemy will use a move and I'll say, "Ah, fuck, I hate they used that move. I can't do anything about that move." But no, in Expedition 33, you can dodge or parry just about anything if you're good enough. Big emphasis on if you're good enough. It's hard. It's not easy to be good. But basically, they implement QuickTime events. Oh god, I could hear myself twice. They implement QuickTime events into standard JRPG combat. And that is very fun because I'm not just sitting and waiting for the enemy to take their turn. I actually have agency at all points throughout combat, which is really, really cool. And it also, like, instead of saying, "Oh fuck, an enemy used this ability and there's nothing I could do about it except maybe change my build outside of the combat," it's no, now I have to lock in. It's time to lock in and parry everything. I actually have the opportunity to beat it, but if I know that this combo is gonna kick my ass, I get stressed. I feel things. And it makes the entirety of combat, even the most standard of just like normal enemy combat, still feel fun. Because I'm not just sitting and waiting and watching an animation. I am sitting and staring at those frames like, when are they gonna hit? Because when they hit, I gotta parry and I gotta go. It's like, not to spoil Dan to Dan, but there is an episode of Dan to Dan about,
where is this coming? Where is this coming from?
Where it's basically a training arc in Dan to Dan, where these two characters are learning how to be better fighters by learning about rhythm in combat and learning like the enemy's beats per second, and like learning how to deal with enemies based off of the timing of the attacks, and like finding the beat, like the rhythm in a combat. It is a song, and that is how the entirety of Expedition 33 feels to me. Is I'm in combat and I'm finding the rhythm of every combat and just getting into a flow state. This game is so good at getting me into a flow state.
I gotta show you bullets per minute. There's a whole game, like, I mean, the concept has been discussed. This is mostly tangential because it's not really JRPG at this point. But as far as rhythm in combat, like, I mean, there's also Crypt of the Necrodancer, right? That's
I was gonna say I've played Crypt of the Necrodancer.
Yeah. Bullets per minute is a similar thing, but in first person. So maybe I actually shouldn't show that to you because you'll get nauseous. But
I probably will get motion sick.
But that is a great idea that I love seeing applied to different genres. And I'm also curious. At some point, I'll probably get around to playing the Final Fantasy VII remake. Remakes. They're like different parts. I don't know what the deal is, but like it's, bringing back everyone's favorite Final Fantasy in the current year and adding a bunch of stuff and maybe changing the story. But combat-wise, they like original Final Fantasy VII was the turn-based system. With the, I think that was still one of the games that had like the charging mechanic where your characters would only be able to attack after waiting a certain, like, they'd have a cooldown period after using an ability, and so you could like try and make, instead of having a locked order of turn order, it would be variable based on when you actually send out the attacks. But for the remake, they went the full action RPG route, and so now you're doing like real-time combat, but you can still kind of like Kingdom Hearts, which is another game that I gotta get you to play at some point. You just are, casting spells and doing stuff, but you also have like a 3D combat arena that you're running around, which is not what Expedition 33 is doing, as far as I understand. You are just queuing up abilities and then waiting for enemies to attack, but then you have this dodge mechanic, this parry mechanic, which to me sounds very Dark Souls-like, at least in like getting the feeling of satisfaction of parrying perfectly. Is that like? I
think so. Yeah, kind of on that thread, using Necrodancer, like we mentioned as an analogy. That game beats you over the head with the rhythm mechanic, and at least for me, I found it difficult to find a flow state. It's just not really my kind of game. This game, I think, does kind of feel like how I feel when I play like Dark Souls games and am able to parry something. It's like I have found the rhythm of this combat. It feels very natural. Where like Crypt of the Necrodancer, and I imagine beats per minute, that is the core mechanic of the game, and it kind of like like it beats you over the head with that concept. This is not the point, but it hits it, if that makes sense.
It's more like Sekiro, like how Sekiro is a technically like a rhythm game. It's not to music, but it is to combat. Like there's a rhythm to the combat. Um, so like if you're parrying these attacks, they depending on what the attack is, they'll always hit in the same rhythm.
And sometimes there are sound cues that are helpful, which is nice.
Yeah.
The sound design is really fantastic in this game.
Love the music.
And so is all the music.
Music.
I'm glad we don't speak French, because if we spoke French, we'd get massive spoilers with every song. But it's just a masterpiece. It sounds so amazing. The composer is a guy they found off of SoundCloud, and he absolutely kills it.
It's very good.
It's really good. I highly recommend listening to it on Spotify. And also just playing the game. I highly recommend playing the game. I'm trying to think what else I wanted to talk about. The combat is awesome. Some issues I have with the game. It's their level design needs work. There's too many invisible walls. They don't have great world, or like they have beautiful visuals that will like stun you and blind you with how beautiful they are. But then you try to accomplish a task and you're like, I can't read the environment very well. Like, I hate to say they need some yellow paint, but they need some yellow paint.
They need something. You know, it doesn't, like, yellow paint is just what people have made. It's turned into its own shorthand at this point, but, like, you could use, you know, lighting cues and, like, you know, something that draws the eye in the direction that doesn't have to be yellow paint, but something that could work in the same way. Because that yellow paint is just something that draws your eye towards a spot. And, like, there are many ways to do that. Yeah. It's hard. I'm not gonna sugarcoat that, like, you know, making natural level design, you know, natural feeling level design that still draws your eye to the right places where you go without even thinking about it. That's like a super hard thing.
Yeah, that is just super duper difficult. So it's like, it's a very mild complaint, but it did definitely impede my gameplay at certain points where I was trying to get to a certain area and I would see gaps in, like, between two rocks, and I'm like, oh, I could definitely walk through that. I couldn't because there was an invisible wall. And so trying to find out where I needed to go in certain levels, I was getting really frustrated because I'm like, realistically, I'm looking at this and this is what the solution looks like.
Does it not have a map or mini map or like objective markers, like a compass?
The map, they don't have a mini map. They don't have a compass. They have a overhead map that is honestly not that useful. Like, you have to open it in a separate menu, and then it doesn't exist in levels, does it, Shangiru? It doesn't.
No.
Yeah.
There's.
Oh no.
Yeah, they don't have level maps. They just have a world map. I will say that, like, most of the levels are pretty linear with like forking paths to like find secret areas. But I will agree that some of the areas are very visually dense and sometimes overwhelmed my senses to the point where I was like, I don't know where the fuck I'm going. And then I find a grapple point like back where I just was walking from, and that's the place that I needed to go.
Yeah,
it only
I think
happened
a
few times.
Yeah, sorry. It wasn't frequent. I agree. I think if I hadn't played this game with a controller, I would have missed a lot more, because at least when you get close to a grapple point, the controller will vibrate.
Yeah.
And that saved me, because I almost never saw a grapple point. I always felt it.
That feels like something that should be an accessible setting to, like, add another visual cue to replace the rumble if you're playing on keyboard, if you want it, at least.
There is a visual cue. It's only when you're looking at the grapple point. But most of the time, you're not looking up.
Yeah.
You're, like, looking around. It's, yeah, like, I think a little bit more accessibility would have gone a long way, but I don't think that it's unplayable.
Yeah, I definitely think it's definitely doable. It's just frustrating at certain points. And I also don't think like it's too late for them to add it. They are still doing updates. Like they just released the DLC for Game of the Year awards. And I do
Yeah.
suspect that quality of life updates are on the way. They're not just dropping this game. So I think it's not too late for that. But if anybody from Sandfall happens to be listening,
It's
I
me,
urge
John
you,
Sandfall.
Oh my
John
god.
Sandfall, please.
Why aren't you repping your
Sorry,
own game for your game of the year, John Sandfall?
what's the French name of John? Jean,
John?
but spelled Jaune.
Jaune?
Jean Sandfall.
Oh.
Jean
Jean.
Sandfall. I am not going
um,
to do a French
I
accent because that would be painful.
so okay, you're glazing the combat and the music. I feel like I know you're trying to stay spoiler free, but it seems like a big part of what you've told me off stream of what has affected you with this game is the story though. Are there any broad strokes that you would be willing to share as to why this story has affected you
Yes.
so?
Let me proceed carefully.
Like,
I
you could just
can
talk
I
about
can give a
themes or
Yeah,
I
I
can give
do
a
want
overview
to.
of the themes if
Yeah,
you're worried you're gonna spoil something.
go. Yeah, you go ahead. I'll jump in.
Okay. This game deals a lot with grief and the cycles of grief and how that affects people. And some of the later parts of the game are deeply impacting because of that. The characters are very well written, extremely lifelike. Um
Extremely well acted as well. Like it's not just the writing. The actors are truly like world class and so good at selling the emotions that they are trying to. So good at embodying the characters. It is so immersive. This whole game.
is there any other I think the biggest thing is the theme of like grief and how that affects people. Unless
I
there's
think it's
something else.
grief. I'm trying to think what other themes because it's. I'm like there are some other themes that I'm like, how do I say this without spoiling? Um,
Yeah, that's
well,
what I think the thing with grief is the least spoilery thing.
it's interesting that you're saying the cycles of grief because I mean, this is another game that I haven't played, but have had discussions with people about enough to feel like I can say something about it in terms of like the theme being revolving around that kind of thing is like I know a lot of people. I think even the Game of Awards like The Last of Us 2 was like cycle. I guess it's more specifically cycles of violence, but I think the grief played into that. But maybe this more so focuses on the grief part of it than the violence part of it. The cycles of violence theme in The Last of Us 2 has been debated ad nauseum, and I don't really have anything to say about that at the moment. But like, that's what came to mind when you said cycles of grief, and I'm curious. Like, I don't know if either of you played either of the Last of Us games, but like, if you have, is that any point of comparison?
I have not played it, but I think that this game is less of cycles of violence.
Yeah.
And I think it's very I feel like with The Last of Us, at least is what I have heard of it, it's like there's the cycles of violence, and then as its underlying thing, there's cycles of grief.
Yeah, but it's not
Well,
the
this
focus of it.
Yeah, I think this is maybe the opposite. I don't know if you have a different take on that.
I struggle with this. Yeah, no, I don't think I have a different take. I'm pretty there with you, and I also haven't played The Last of Us 2, so.
Which is like all the characters are dealing with different forms of grief, kind of deal, and then,
all the characters are dealing with different forms and the same form. There is a lot of grief. This is not a happy game. If you are not in a great place, I don't know if I can safely or if you're not in a good place, this might be a difficult game to swallow. Um and kind of there are two more themes actually I could talk a little bit about, and they kind of they're kind of sub themes,
Mhm.
because one of them is the concept of like mortality and how do you deal with it, how do the characters process and deal with mortality, and second to that is kind of like the theme of adventure, which is the thing with most like action RPGs, JRPGs, whatever, is these characters are going through these fantastical environments. Another like mild story point is the expeditioners are coming from what is effectively like dilapidated Paris, but it is a little island town that has gotten separated from the main continent, and their expeditions are going to the continent. And they've never been there, the expeditioners, and so they get there, and they are basically met with a whole nother world. And their whole lives, up until the point of going on the expedition, has been figuring out kind of as a community dealing with death and more, like the concept of mortality and how do you decide to live your life. Even deciding to go on the expedition is such a poignant choice for these characters because that's how they decide that they're going to live their life, is going on this dangerous expedition. um and so you get to explore how these characters deal with concepts like mortality and how they react to adventure and honestly wondrous environments in such a terrible situation. And it's very interesting because every character deals and interacts with it differently. Um, mild spoiler. It kind of reminds me of how does every character react to riding a carousel?
Ah.
There is a carousel in the DLC, and every character reacts very differently to the carousel, and
Oh,
every character reacts very differently to everything in the story. And you do get to build relationships with them and get to know how they feel and why they feel the way they do. There's a
Do
really
you
cool
get to
relationship
fuck?
system. Yes.
Let's fucking go!
You don't see it.
Yes.
It's not graphic,
No,
but you can.
I was being crass. I just meant, is there a romance system? Because I'm a
There
sucker for
is.
that.
Oh, 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 sweet summer child. Yeah, there is.
Let's
Oh, you're
fucking
not.
go.
This game's gonna make you feel sad. You're gonna cry. You're gonna cry.
Yeah, you've said that like
biggest
multiple
issue.
times at this point about me playing this game. So,
I know what you're
Biggest
gonna
issue
say
with this
next.
game, they don't let the lesbian couple be a lesbian couple. Fucked up.
wow, that feels like the
It's
most
fucked up.
spoiler thing said thus far. What
Fucked
the
up.
fuck? God damn.
How was it spoiler?
The
I'll say
lesbian
it,
couple
Luna and
doesn't get to
CL
be a
shoulda
lesbian
fucked.
couple. I wonder how that is forced to not happen. There's some kind of trope out there that is pretty commonly used.
No, they just make them not lesbians, Nick.
They're not lesbians. They're not lesbians.
Okay. all right.
They just think that they should be lesbians, and they're not
I
entirely
think
wrong.
they should. There's several scenes where they're like really close with each other, and I'm like, just kiss already.
Just a couple more inches. Just a couple more inches.
Okay. I guess like the other thing then going off of that it sounds like this game does pretty well is like having character development for the whole cast that makes you care for all of them. That seems pretty.
Oh God, yeah. No, the whole cast is so well fleshed out. Oh God, I feel
I,
things for honestly probably like the least, not like the least developed character, but the story is least about her. Um, is this character named CL, and I love her and her story, and she's my favorite, and she never exits my roster. Um, but like that's how I feel about the person who has some of the least development, and that is how much development there is for the rest of the characters.
Oh, that's how much more there is.
That's
For the
how
other
much more
characters.
there is. Yes,
Okay.
the least developed character is my favorite character, but the most developed characters fucking rip my heart out.
God damn.
I'm trying to think of a way to form this without spoiling.
It's like we're just walking on glass here.
I
How
It's really
how much of this
I don't-
game
it's
could
really
there
important
possibly
that you
be
play this
like
game
that
without
that
spoilers.
is
I
that is
cannot.
all like earth-shatteringly like amazing twist that can't be revealed in any way? There has to be some straightforward
listen.
aspect of it.
No, I want you
I
to play
won't
the first 30 minutes blind. That means I can't tell you
Oh,
anything.
Wow, the first 30 minutes are
I need you to
soul-crushing.
experience the prologue raw.
God damn.
I think I have it. I really like this game, and this like what we've talked about so far with Hades and Wanderstop, where like Hades it's gameplay rather than story, and Wanderstop it's story rather than gameplay. Expedition 33 is definitely best of both worlds. Like the gameplay is very fun, the story is amazing. I don't. This is not too much of a complaint because I think that the latter half of the story is very good. It does focus less on the side characters than it does in the first half. And I like it's just I wish there was more there, but like
Do you think
it
development
doesn't
runway
ruin.
was running thin at that point, and they were like, "We'll just
I think
tear down a little bit."
I think the story just like the way that the story goes is it's less like they wanted to focus more on certain aspects rather than other things. And I think that they just didn't take all the time for those characters, which I think overall it's fine. But I've seen people say, like, not complain about it, but like dislike that fact. Um, but
I
like,
don't think that they were wrong to do it. I think that they
I
were
don't,
right
yeah,
to focus on the story they were trying to tell. I do just love those characters and want more for them.
yeah, that's the thing, really.
Is there? This is like, I don't know. This isn't relevant to the game in its own right, but like, I guess maybe it could be. Is it something that sets itself up for follow-ups, or is it a entirely self-contained kind of story?
I
So
think it's
they
entirely self-contained.
Yeah, they've also gone on record saying that they want to treat Clair Obscur as like a Final Fantasy-esque thing
Oh,
where
okay.
each
So
game
if they
is a
go,
separate.
yeah, if they make another game in the same with the same title framework, it'll be a different or a different.
Exactly. Yeah.
That is
Uh,
honestly, as much as like I think younger me was irked by the concept of Final Fantasy not having any connection between the games other than like some motifs are carried between them. And also maybe now just being tired of the MCUification of everything, kind of cool, kind of down with it.
Yeah.
kind of like that.
I like that. There's certain aspects of the world that I really want them to explore more, and I don't know if they will because they like want to move on to other worlds, which again I think is good, but also I'm like, please, I
Yeah,
need more
it's tough.
lore.
There's a reason that the MCUification thing took off, because there is a demand for that kind of expansion upon possibilities left in loose threads from the original, stuff. Like there's always people that want to clamor for a little bit more, and you can get it, and you just back to the same well. Then I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like it would defeat
there
the
are
theme of the
trade-offs.
game. It would defeat the theme of the game if they did continue
Oh,
to
100%.
beat the dead horse and give.
100%.
Yeah, it would definitely just undermine the point of the game. And I think like it underpoints it under like MCU. I like my complaints with that. It's like like it's cool that they do it because there is a demand for it, but they also continue to do it so they can continue to make money, and they create a lot of bad content in the name of making any content, which is really frustrating. And they do a lot of lazy work, which is really frustrating. Also, like to the point of the writing in Expedition 33 is one of the things I really liked about it is I don't think any of the writing is really lazy at all. Even the humor, even the jokes are very they're very
French?
unique.
Is it French humor? Is this like the world's exposure to French-specific humor.
Maybe, yeah. There was something kind of fresh about it. I was like, yeah, no, this is funny. Like these bits, like they feel organic and good. Small moments of joy, we focus on those. But it's not like the like Deadpool humor, like how that's become like an MCU thing, just like the pointed humor. It's not any of that, which is nice.
Something entirely.
I mean,
It is a new IP.
It's like gallows humor, kind of.
Yeah.
Like making
I guess that lines
making
up.
light in the face of dark.
What is the translation for Clair Obscure again? I forget.
I think that's kind of a mild spoiler.
The title is a spoiler. Fuck off. You can't say.
I guess literally.
I won't say exactly what it means. But it's like light and shadow.
Yeah, okay. If that's a spoiler, it's without context. I could not possibly figure out what.
I've given a general meaning. There is a deeper, or not deeper meaning, but there's a more like explicit meaning of what Clair Obscure is.
Sure.
I'm
sure I'll find that out when I eventually start my playthrough. But
you will understand.
Okay.
But yeah,
like a threat.
All of the music, all of the French lyrics are like talking about the characters and the things that they are doing before it is told to the player what they're doing. If you speak French and you play Expedition 33, you're getting story way earlier than any other player.
I think that you would still be confused by what you were getting.
It would be really confusing, yeah.
Once you get a like piece of key information, you're like, oh, okay, I get it now.
Okay. Well, is there anything else you wanted? I know you had some thoughts on the reaction, because there was like backlash to it sweeping the game. I feel like there's just people being contrarians. I don't know if it's that like crazy. I feel like that happens anytime. Like Disco Elysium probably got like some pushback as well when it swept the Game Awards on its year as well. But like, did you have specific thoughts on the backlash to the accolades it's getting? I thought you said you had
I do think a lot of it was pretty contrary, and I also think a lot of it is due to the fact that there were so many good games that could have gotten it. Like Silksong came out.
God, yeah, we didn't even talk about that, and that was the shit that I think you were most hyped for, wasn't it, Aiden? That was like your most hyped
100%.
game of the year. Yeah,
100%.
I listen. Choosing my game of the year was hard. I had both Expedition 33, Hades 2, Silksong, Wander Stop. Like there's just so many.
Great year for games. Also, that's a pretty goated list, and I can't even disagree with it. And like, I think even public sentiment is pretty aligned with most of those picks, and they're all indie games or at least smaller studio games. Like there is no AAA. I think
indie sweep,
even like crossing our minds this year.
Expedition 33 was made by a lot of people.
It was.
It was made by I think 30 people and contractors.
Well, there was
a lot of contractors, right?
They don't talk about the like hundreds of contractors that they had.
Yeah, but at least the demo and like the initial version of the game was 6 people. Yeah. And then they grew to 30, and then they got contractors, and it's like, okay, yeah, the final version of the game had a lot of hands in it. But oh fuck, I still want to call that indie. They grew from 0.
Yeah, I think indie is a pretty nebulous term that's honestly kind of only helpful in distinguishing it from the AAA devs that have been entrenched for years, right? Which like.
I mean, at this point, they've probably grown to like AA. If we want to, nobody ever says that. But it's like they're not like pure indie anymore. Like they've established themselves.
Yeah, I think that's the like. I get people's frustration with larger games like that, like winning indie game stuff.
Yeah, it's
because
definitely
like,
not a
there are a
useful
lot of
title when it's used for a category at the Game Awards
yeah.
like that. Like that's not. I think that's pretty unhelpful and leads to these kinds of arguments that I don't think really matter. That if I'm going to be completely honest, I don't think matter in the grand scheme of things as far as like they made good games and they're like as long as we're just identifying there's a problem with AAA studios churning shit like Black Ops 7 out every year and killing their employees while doing it. I think that's the kind of start and end of what that conversation should be, but to make it into like a thing of like, well, this game had 5 people on it, this game had 100 people on it, and therefore, one should be put into a different box as another, or like, I don't know. It feels like we're just categorizing for the sake of categorizing, which we as a species love doing. We love putting things in boxes, but to what end? You know?
I think
I
it's
would
important to have a space to elevate those like small creators of games. So I do think having like a cutoff is important because it's one thing for a team of 30 folks and hundreds of contractors, and it's another thing for like Concerned Ape,
Mm,
one
mhm.
person.
Yeah, yeah. Or Peak,
well
which is
he's
like another
yeah.
great game from this past year that I think would have
Yeah, we
also.
didn't even talk about Peak.
Yeah, that was in my
I
running because
did
that
I
was.
did see that as we were
Mm,
like starting. I was like, "Oh shit, Peak came out."
yeah, that was another small studio game that kicked fucking
Yeah.
ass and is like I don't know. It's part of like a new genre that didn't exist before COVID. It feels like of the derogatory friend slot, but like I like to see it in a kind light because it is just
Mhm.
fun to do shit with friends like that. Conquer, uh, in theory simple, but in practice very difficult kind of games with simple mechanics that just lead
Yeah.
to fun interactions with your friends. Great.
I think
That's a whole.
slightly circling back to the awards talk, I think I agree with Dawn because like to us, we play a lot of indie games, or at least we're like I play a lot of indie games and I will tell people about them. Um Not everybody does that. And so having an award, like being in the running for an award or winning an award at the Game Awards that pulls so many viewers is publicity for those games. And
Yeah, that's
like
true.
smaller studios do not have the budget to advertise a lot. So like I understand the sentiment of like we shouldn't really be like saying what's indie and like putting up all of these restrictions and stuff, but I also get why you would want to do that to like show some of the people that are working very hard and are very passionate about the stuff that they make, but may not have enough money or enough like uh
Market themselves is my
yeah.
idea. Yeah, that's fair.
And so
I
like
guess. Yeah, I guess like the thing I was focusing on, but I do see your point. Is like it doesn't need to. We don't need to pit Peak against like Expedition 33, but I see what you're saying as far as giving spotlight attention to objectively smaller team of Peak and other indie smaller indie studio games like that.
yeah.
That does make sense.
Though I do disagree with the people that complain about the Expedition 33 sweep. I like I think if a game does everything right and all aspects of it are like worthy of awards, I think that they should win those
They
awards
should win them.
because like it's not like you're giving an award to one person a bunch of times. It's the people, the different sections of that game studio that all collectively came together to work on these things. You're giving those separate team's accolades. And like they should get them. They did a good job.
If independently, this game has the best music, the best acting, the best gameplay, then it makes sense that it's also Game of the Year. So yeah, that all checks out. And I don't think I saw this kind of like backlash with Elden Ring. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think there was a huge controversy about the fact that Elden Ring swept.
Well,
And Elden Ring
yeah.
won more awards collectively than Expedition 33 did.
I think there was backlash when Night Rain, or was it the other one? I think
It was whatever the DLC was.
Oh, Shadow of Earth
Yeah,
Tree.
because they're like, it's not another game, it's the same game.
Yeah, there was backlash around that, but Elden Ring base game sweeping,
the base
I
game.
don't think anybody was really, except for, small audience of Contrarian being hurt about it, but like, it was smaller than Expedition 33, Contrarians being it seemed like there's more of that this time around, but yeah, for Elden Ring.
I think it's just that like people liked other games that were like nominated, but they didn't like Expedition 33, which is fine. Like you're allowed to not like a game, but you also have to understand that the consensus is not necessarily your point of view. The consensus can be Expedition 33 is a better game than these other games, which is not necessarily true for you, which is fine. Like the way that we experience art is different
and
for
it's the same sentiment
everybody.
for all of our games of the all of our games of the year, right? Wonderstop's not going to be for everybody. Hades isn't going to be for everybody. That's like the whole thing about art is that there is some level of subjectivity. And be objective about like it's hitting its marks on what it's trying to execute, but at the end of the day, that doesn't mean you like it as much as some other thing that also probably that did things well, and like you just like whatever it was doing a little bit more. Yeah, that's how it goes.
But yeah, I think that's like that's my thoughts. Yeah.
Yeah. I do like it has been glazed worldwide to a degree that I definitely can't ignore it, and I am very interested to see what my experience with like when get it queued up for Telling Tales Thursday.
When you finish Metaphor ReFantasio.
Yeah, and if nobody else has enough points stocked up to you're not just
hey, I might make you play Outer Wilds
de facto
first.
winner. Or that. You could make me play Outer Wilds, it's true.
Outer Wilds.
But yeah, that's, I think, gonna do it here. I think this is a good stopping point. We've been talking for over an hour, which is already beating our expectations. You can see our cat climbing a tree in my background. That's awesome.
Get her go.
Going crazy. So I think that'll do it from our stream here. I do have a highlighted message from Locklam that I will address real quick. Who would win in a fight in Full Metal Armor 1800, 1700? See, that it is funny to me that you make this hypothetical, but then don't give people, and then you just say anybody. So I'm guessing, I figure, I'm piecing together you're asking just, like, which armor is better? Or three, I guess it's the three of us fighting to the death. The armors from that era. I don't know enough about 1700s versus 1800s armor. Well, 1800s armor is just, there is, I mean, they dropped it because the people picked up guns, right? So, like, I think it depends on what weapons they have equipped. Like, the armor is only half the equation here. So if you have guns, then it's 1800s armor, because you gotta be light on your feet. If there's no guns, then 1700s armor, because you're doing melee, and you gotta have thick armor. I don't know. So it depends, I suppose. So thank you for the message highlight. I hope you guys all enjoyed the discussion here. Please do leave comments in the YouTube VOD what your game of the year was for 2025, and also what you guys are looking forward to in 2026. We didn't even get to that. I was thinking about we could talk about that if we have time, but I think Dawn, you gotta go here in a little bit.
I gotta get going soon. Also, I don't think I would win in a fist fight.
I I guess I maybe could win. I don't know though. I think you could pull out some haymakers that could wallop me. But
I think it's
either,
between you two. I've thrown my entire punches at some of our other friends, and it doesn't do much. I'm not a puncher.
The other people, the specific people you've thrown that at though, have been built like brick shithouses though, right? Like
yeah, you're both kind of built like brick shit houses.
Okay,
no, I'm weak.
Okay.
I'm fragile.
Yeah, okay. I don't think I could hurt you though.
I don't think that's true. I don't think that's true.
If we're wearing full metal armor, I don't think any of us can apply as much force.
I think we would hurt ourselves before we hurt each other in full metal armor. If we had full chainmail on, like, and metal armor on top of that, I think I would hurt myself. I would pinch something.
Sand. Yeah, no. If this was an unfair fight, I'd win.
Okay, sure, whatever.
I think I'm the only
one. If there's an unfair fight, I just pull out a gun. What are you talking about? This hypothetical is just losing all of its meaning now.
I'd give you puppy dog eyes and you wouldn't pull the trigger.
Sure. I mean, I'd still shoot you in the foot. I could do that. And on that note, for whatever fucking reason,
alright, I'll shoot you in the foot.
We'll call it.
Alright, I won't make it illegal.
We'll call it a pod there. I'll be trying to put this on Spotify as with the other episodes that came before as well. But it'll be on YouTube instantly. And tune back in on Sunday for the Movies of the Year podcast. We'll also Dawn and I will be on tomorrow, Saturday, or simul streaming, probably split fiction. But yeah, until again, let me pick someone to gotta read out to someone. Colin 5 right now. Game of the year, hopefully 2026. Better for game devs. That's all I'm hoping for. I don't even care about and honestly, again, by virtue of these, all of our picks being indie to some degree or small studio based, for I forget the studio name for Hades 2, but Supergiant. I don't feel like I've heard, or I have not personally heard any crazy crunch stories from any of these game studios, which is great. Wish that would apply to the vast majority of the industry by per capita, which means AAA studios, please stop killing your employees. I'm begging you.
Only when it stops making them money.
Yeah, I know. But I can hope. I can hope and dream and continue supporting smaller games that treat their employees. That is.
Everybody support your indie developers. Go support indies.
Yes, please.
Don't give money to Microsoft.
Don't give money to Microsoft. Thank you for reminding me I need to drop my Game Pass. Alright. Until I see you all again, thank you so much for watching. Stay safe out there. And until next time, peace out. Bye-bye.
I want to stop.
Bye.